pat-down searches. Now, let's consider the arguments for and against. Charles Pena is a senior fellow with the Coalition for a Realistic Foreign Policy. He's also the author of the forthcoming book, Winning the Unwar, a New Strategy for the War on Terrorism. David Banker is an attorney who represented the National Football League in its argument to keep those pat-downs at Tampa Bay Bucs games. And in that case, his learned opposing counsel was John Goldsmith, who is in private practice. He also works with the American Civil Liberties Union. Gentlemen, good morning. Chuck Pena, we just saw the pat-downs. There's nothing below the waist. We saw that report that was entered into evidence, and we just, by reading the news for the last 5 years, we see that overseas, at least, suicide bombers who are challenged at security checkpoints ignite the bomb at that point. So how effective are these searches at NFL games?
Well, if the concern is that you don't want a suicide bomber actually getting into the stadium and detonating a bomb inside the stadium, this would have some deterrent effect. But if you are just worried about a suicide bomber detonating a bomb, causing casualties, and of course having the huge psychological effect, they can do that just as easily in line. And if the NFL and others are concerned that what effect that's going to have beyond just casualties on game attendance and whether people are going to come to games, I would think that a bomb going off as you're going into the stadium is likely to have the same effect as a bomb going off inside a stadium. So regardless of the legal and constitutional issues, which I'm acutely aware of, this may have next to no effect against a determined suicide bomber who just wants to blow him or herself up and kill people at an NFL stadium without having to get inside the stadium.
And in a quick sentence, Chuck Pena, how well trained are hourly workers who work for these temporary security firms to know what they're finding?
Well, if you're just looking for a belt bomb or a vest bomb and you feel an unusual protrusion on a person, you may know what you're looking for. At that point, though, the person may just detonate it, in which case the search will have had almost zero effect.
All right. David Banker, okay, we've heard the opinion expressed that the effect would be the same inside or outside the stadium and that there's not really a lot of effectiveness here.
Well, Bob, I would disagree. I think that one of the things that terrorists look for is a grand international stage. And the opportunity to explode an IED inside the stadium, wreak havoc on national and international television would be far more attractive. And that is the very thing that makes the NFL games a likely target. And that's why the NFL has been so proactive and so forward-looking in trying to prevent that from occurring. It is true that the NFL cannot control things that occur outside beyond the perimeter of the stadium. But in that respect, an NFL game is no different from a shopping mall or any other venue. But what the NFL can do is take that international stage away from terrorists. In addition, I would say, and I'll try to be brief here, there is a difference between detonation of an improvised explosive device inside a stadium with issues of crowd panic and crowd control and people being forced into exits and just the crush of volume people moving in a confined area can have deleterious impact.
Now, David, you say, though, that the NFL is a likely target. The highest level of security is assigned to events that are national special events controlled by the Secret Service. NFL regular season games are considered special event homelands, and that's the next level down. And within that second tier, they're right now the lowest level within that second tier. There has not been a Super Bowl at that highest tier since 2002.
Well, that may be true, but remember, nobody thought that the World Trade Centers would be attacked or that the Pentagon would be attacked in the manner in which they were attacked. The NFL, I think, has acted very responsibly and proactively in trying to anticipate what may or may not happen. By the time a threat becomes certain, I would submit, and I think the NFL would submit, that it's too late, really. By that time, the threat has been realized, people have been killed, and the terrorists have accomplished their purpose.
Okay, John Goldsmith, you've been very patient listening to the security arguments. In a nutshell, the legal argument, why aren't these legal?
Well, the legal argument is that the Constitution has prohibited for more than 200 years mass random pat-down searches. We don't do pat-down searches on a mass basis anywhere in this country. We don't do them in airports. We don't do them in courthouses. Even those places that have had specific particularized threats, there have been violence, there's been terrorism. Notwithstanding that, we don't do, and even after 9/11, did not do pat-down searches of everybody going through an airport. We did a wand search even post 9/11, only if that showed suspicion was there a further search. There's no other venue in this country, sports, airports, courthouses, buildings, no other venue where every single person is patted down when they walk in, particularly here to go to a public event.
David, is the NFL unique in that regard in American society?
Well, I think the NFL is a little bit unique, and I would disagree with Mr. Goldsmith that, there seems to be some offense here at the issue of touching. I think the more helpful analysis is to look at the particular venue being protected and what makes sense for that circumstance. And for NFL games, the pat-down approach is uniquely suited for that. I think an argument can be made, a compelling argument can be made, that an airport search is far more invasive. You have to empty your pockets, you have to take your shoes off, you have to take your jacket off, you have to put everything through a magnetometer. That very act takes a lot of time. That creates crowd problems at gates. Pat-downs are quick. They take 5 to 10 seconds. And what's the problem with being touched?
What do you find in 5 to 10 seconds?
Well, you would find the screeners are looking for specific things. When the people put their arms parallel and raise their hands, they're looking for detonation devices near the hands. And then they're feeling for plastic explosives. Suicide bombers carry the explosives around their torso. That's the preferred method.
Chuck Pena, if I'm a terrorist and I'm watching this and understanding the level of planning that went into 9/11, if I wanted to do harm to an NFL game, what am I thinking right now?
Well, one, if you know the pat-downs are on the upper body, you begin to think, how do I improvise and put explosives on my lower extremities where I'm not being patted down, and quite frankly, that's probably not a very difficult thing for a terrorist to figure out. The other is, I know that packages are inspected going into stadiums, but you begin to think about how could I get explosives inside a package so that they wouldn't be recognized. Certainly, several sticks of dynamite tied together would be noticed by someone opening up a package. But plastic explosives and other things can now be concealed inside other things that look innocuous, and if screeners are not searching inside those things, then you have a way to bring those in.
Do you believe NFL games, Chuck, yes or no, are a likely target?
They're a likely target. Okay. They're a vulnerable target, but we have thousands of vulnerable and likely targets in the United States, so in that regard, they're no different.
And David Banker, how far will the NFL take this appeal?
Well, the NFL is very committed to what it believes is very responsible action and proactive action. We are underwriting the.
So you're going to take it as long as you can, as far as you can.
We're going to take it as long as
All
we
right.
can.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you, Charles Pena, David Banker, John Goldsmith. I appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you,
Next
Bob.
up, the Eagles.